You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Hello, everybody. This is episode 3 of the Jason J. Tavares Show for right-brained entertainers. My guest today is a lady named Gabriela DeMedeiros. I'd like to introduce her to all of you. And Gabriela DeMedeiros is the camera person, or camera lady, I should say, for my films. We've worked together on Noise in the Kitchen, The Joy Street Mystery, Eddie Thurber's Formidable Adversary, Eddie Thurber 2, Allies and Adversaries.
Correct.
What are the other ones?
Good Karma from a Bad Deed.
Good Karma from a Bad Deed, yep.
40 at the Bell.
40 at the Bell, yeah.
And
Blind Franny Gloom.
correct.
And there's actually, we brought it up on the last show that I did on episode 2, where I had Keith E. Johnson on here. We talked about a song that I sang from this book here, Broken Tracks Beneath Forgotten Windows. And that was the first time I ever sang, and you unfortunately had to film it.
It wasn't too bad.
So thank you for coming today. I
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
it.
No problem.
Now, we originated, do you remember the story of how Noise in the Kitchen, the first film that we did together, came to be?
Actually, we were hanging out in my kitchen,
Yeah.
and I shut one of the doors to one of the rooms, and it creaked. And I said something about how it would be cool to maybe make a scary movie based on that creaking noise, because it was creepy. And knowing how much you liked it, that was something that, you know, just came to mind, and we brought it up from there.
Yeah, that was a great idea, because you even said it. Like, I brought up the creek, I remember, and you're like, wow, that would be cool in a film. And then, what could we name it? I went to my mom, and she named it
Noise in the Kitchen.
Noise in the Kitchen.
Yep.
That was awesome. Before we go any further, there's one small topic I want to touch on. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But I found this spatula at the Salvation Army. And I know it's very difficult for people to flip their hand, you know, for lazy people, if you are lazy. This spatula here, all you do is do that and it flips over. I don't know why I want to show that to you today, but I found it to be kind of interesting, and I keep it on my coffee table at home. How rude of me. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right.
I just found it kind of humorous. It cost a whole 99 cents for that.
Good find.
Now let's get back to the films here. Now, when we started filming, I knew nothing about cameras, and I'm probably not much farther than that today. I still know some stuff, but I mean, not as much as you do. You know more than I do. I mean, you're the one that had the idea to film. I had the vision in my head. Now, you had told me before that you started filming with a camera like this when you were young?
Actually, no, it was quite different.
It was different than that one?
Yeah, I started, filming to me is just something like a hobby I do on a special occasion or just to capture memories. Nothing that I get paid for or I even went to school for. To be honest with you, I don't know much about the technology behind a camera, but I know what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I believe I was no more than probably 10 years old when my uncle came to me and asked if I could videotape my cousin's baptism. So back in the day, and I won't tell you how long that
Were
ago
you
that was.
stressed out when they asked you to do that?
No, I was excited. I mean, little kids don't get stressed out over things like that.
That's
to me,
true.
it was pretty interesting. So I saw it, and I was just like, wow, this thing is huge. So he had me hold it and showed me, okay, this is the play button, the stop button, the record button, I'm sorry, the zoom in and zoom out.
Yep.
So that's all I had to know. Now, holding the camera was a different story because it was huge. You had to rest it on my shoulder, and being a small kid,
How much bigger was it than that camera?
it was probably double the length.
And then you were half the size, too.
Yes, and a lot heavier. Yeah. So here I am. Now I got nervous because I knew I had to capture this baptism, you know, in the way it should be. Not, well, it was kind of heavy for a small kid, so having to balance it on my shoulder, pressing the button with one hand, I supported it with the other hand. And I think I did a pretty good job. I mean, he always said, oh, you did an excellent job.
How long did you have to hold it for?
I don't remember, but I remember getting tired from it. The camera my filming was a little shaky because it was heavy, and of course I didn't want to drop such a heavy piece of equipment or expensive a piece of equipment, because I know that back in the day, the prices were probably through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
And then as I got older, he could continuously ask me to film other things, just family gatherings, special occasions, and I did. Well, when I graduated high school, I bought myself this piece of equipment. It was actually the first handheld, one of the first handhelds that came out, not obviously as big or as heavy.
No.
And the first camera that I used was recorded onto a regular size VHS.
Oh, wow.
Now this one recorded onto smaller VHS, which then you had to, this is actually an adaptive piece, I guess. It's part of a play pack where you insert the smaller VHS into this and then pop it into the VCR.
Oh, that's something, huh?
And then I actually bought it for my trip to Europe, which, capture good times with friends and family. And it was, just a way of looking back at things you've done.
So
now,
technology is good for some things. You didn't have to lug that camera.
oh, no, goodness,
Imagine
no.
That wouldn't fit in a suitcase.
It wouldn't. I don't think they allow me on the plane.
No, no.
And then we went and bought that one.
Yep.
And it's totally different because now it goes from regular size VHS to this small little thing. And then the little
This thing's amazing.
SIM card.
Yeah.
Or the little flash
Those
drive
big
thing.
discs are all brought down to this little thing here that
Correct.
you can. Now, some people even film with these.
Yep, cell phone.
Yep. Isn't that amazing? You can film a movie on that, and they have competitions for that too. Not
Yeah.
competitions, but
Well, I know that some cell phones.
festivals, film
Yeah,
festivals. Yeah.
the qualities of cell
24-hour
phones,
film festivals and stuff.
definitely.
Now, when we were filming with this camera, this tiny little camera, let me ask you this. This isn't a roast on me. I'm not looking to beat myself up here or anything like that. I could try to film with this phone since you filmed with this one. I always bring up that phone every episode.
You could try.
That'd be hilarious. Like walking with that on my shoulder and stuff. When we were filming together, now I don't use the camera. I've only used the camera myself for one film because I was actually teaching somebody else to do it, and it was in Iowa.
Correct.
That film I did, Iowa More Than You Know. It was myself, my co-star, I could say, or actually I call her the star. She was more of a bigger role than I was in the movie. And it was a short film, as you know.
Yep.
And I taught her mom how to use it, and she did fantastic. Now, the mom said I was easy to work with. What do you think? Like with stuff I write, and then you're filming it, and I'm in a scene, and I come back to look at it. Is it irritating trying, like, not just working with me, but is it irritating for you using the camera, trying to capture what somebody wrote and what they're telling you, even though, because you know the capability of it, and the person wants to see this, like, massive vision? How was that to you, as the camera person?
It's actually, I don't find it to me it's not an aggravating thing to do or stressful in any way. I do take pride in doing the camera work for it. I know they're your ideas, but working with you, I know that if you come to me and say, I want this scene to be filmed this way, and I want it to capture this, it can't always be captured the way you want it, because behind the camera it's sometimes different. So I will tell you, okay, we should do it like this instead, and you openly take whatever advice I give you. I think we work well together. We do get aggravated, but not with one another. It's sometimes as if a scene doesn't come out the way you want it to.
I have taken some fits, like not like something didn't go right, and I'm like off to the left or the right taking a fit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you
like
cool off
breaking
quickly.
Stuff, not my personal items, but like branches off of trees and things like that until it all comes together. So.
No, I mean, I kind of know exactly what you want. We discuss it many times beforehand, and it could be where if we have a large group of people, like I believe it was Eddie Thurber's Allies and Adversaries, where we had the riot.
Oh, we had a lot of people. Yeah, I think we worked a total with like 27 or 28
Yep, all
people.
at once on a 90-degree day. It was pretty hot that day.
We can really pick the days to wear.
Yeah, it wasn't bad though.
Make Derek wear a leather jacket. Remember, poor guy.
Oh, that was horrible, but he did well.
He did good. Oh yeah.
Yes, he did.
Everybody did well.
But I mean, the fact that you were able to talk to some people and say, hey, this is what I expect, but because I also knew what you wanted, I could also kind of direct them as well to give you a hand. So I think working together it's fun. I love it.
When you're doing the camera work, how's the pain in your arm keeping it up that much time? I mean, because if you're holding the camera up for like sometimes like an 8-minute scene or something like that? I mean, because it's not always up that time, but do you get any pain or anything from it?
No, I mean, this is very, very light. It fits in the palm of your hand, and I mean, the arm could be a little stiff at times, but we stop many times because our clips are short enough so that we can splice them after. Well, no, I don't. You know, I think sometimes just the aggravation of not getting the scene correct the first time around.
You're not always going to get it first time.
No.
It's frustrating. Yeah,
it is. But it's exciting to see the end result.
Yeah, I think as the films go along, for anybody who hasn't watched the films so far that we've done, they're all under my name on YouTube, Jason J. Tavares. But when you go to the films, you have to remember, it's a one-camera show. Every film, if you're watching a 20-minute film, or if you're watching a 6-minute film, it's all done with one camera. I have not expanded yet, as you know, into having alternate camera people, which would make it that much better.
It would, and it's difficult because I'm trying to capture with one camera, one person, different angles, and it can be a little difficult.
It would add a lot to the film, though.
Oh, definitely with more than one camera. But we do the best that we can with just one until we can get another or even another camera person that's going to know kind of what we expect. That's you know, like I said, we do the best we can with one camera. And I don't think it comes out that bad, considering I don't have any education or training in it.
Oh, I don't either. No.
I just do it because it's something I did when I was younger, and I enjoyed it. And I enjoy the creativity behind your films. And you know, when you come to me and say, "Hey, I have another idea," or to me, this is, I get excited.
So that's what's exciting about this show, because I get to bring people on. You're my third guest, where I get to talk about things that they do and your interests and how we work together, and then how you work together, even if you weren't filming with me, if you were working with somebody else. This is really cool because now I get to see it and hear it, and I don't have to film it.
Right.
Because we got these monster cameras like this thing here filming us.
Exactly.
And it's all spliced together, and we just load it to YouTube. None of the after effects and things like that have to be done by us, or paying somebody else to help with it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's going back to like our first film, The Noise in the Kitchen. That was something that I was in as well. I was your co-star, and that being our first project. We didn't really know what we were doing, in a way.
Not really, no.
But I mean, the dialogue was a little off, but it was something. I had fun doing it. Yeah. You know, and I mean, behind the scenes, people don't get to see what we do, but trashing the kitchen and getting a lot done.
She was actually allowed us, me, 1, 2, 3. I think there was like five of us or 6 of us for the Joyce Street Mystery, which was the sequel to Noise in the Kitchen. Your kitchen got destroyed because we had to show like ghosts doing this and that without showing ghosts, and your kitchen
flying.
it was just stuff everywhere. Ovens opening, closing, and silverware flying across the floor, and chairs moving everywhere. Yep. But everyone did great. I mean, we got lucky because I only pay people with food. I just spit on you. Thanks, everything.
No, that's all right.
I only pay with food and a bottle of water. So I don't pay very well, but you do get your name in the credits. Your name is spelt correctly, which is huge. And you get to have a good time. You're laughing all day.
Oh, yeah.
If I mess something up and I'm mad, I freak out on the side. Like I go crazy, start breaking branches and throwing trash cans. Never at stars or anything, or at you or anybody. But that's part of the creative process, though. I mean, you know why people get angry like that when they're doing things?
Because they want perfection.
Yeah, because they want it right.
Correct.
Yeah, if you didn't care, you wouldn't care. You just throw it all together and be like, yeah. But in the end, I always try to let people know with the films that, it's people that aren't trained in doing this. We're out there having a good time. Everybody's creative. Everybody's trying. And we're using one camera.
Well, actually, being a camera person for your films has taken me to Virginia, which I've never been to.
Yeah, we filmed down there.
We drove down there. That was a good time. Yeah. Seeing different places, getting and seeing how you create your characters, getting the costumes and the things that you create for them to wear.
Yeah, you've even gone shopping with me to buy costumes. Like I had to buy clothes for your mom that one time. Correct.
My mom was the person who was slayed, or the one with the knife in her back for The Noise in the Kitchen.
Yeah, she helped. Her boyfriend helped. That was awesome. Huge help on that.
Yep.
And then on top of it, you think of the patience of people. Like this show, I mean, I know we're talking to Gabriela DeMedeiros today about her camera work on my films and camera work that she's done in the past for family events and stuff. But it's also a thanks, I have to say, to all the other people that have been in my films who, you figure like sometimes I'll have like 10 people lined up and only 4 show up. Well, those 4 that show up in the past have always brought people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I brought a friend. And those people stay all day, and all I do is feed them and give them water, and they're all excited about being there. So I think film, even for people that aren't really interested in it, I think you could actually not have half the interest that you and I have. I mean, I probably have more interest than you. I'm a film nut. I don't know, but I know you like film. But I'm kind of a crazed film guy. Like you could like it like probably half as much as I do, and still want to spend time there to know you're going to have a finished product that you're in.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to age. Everyone's going to get older. You know what I mean? 10, 20 years from now, you can look back and let's say, God forbid somebody passes away that was in the film, or there was something in the film you don't have anymore. You can look back and go, oh, there it is. I can see that. It's huge. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that because I can't recall which film it was that we filmed. You had an idea to have my grandparents in it.
I think it was 1 or 2. Eddie Thurber? Was it 2? No, it was 1.
I believe it was 1.
Yeah.
They only spoke Portuguese.
They did awesome, though.
Yes, and
your grandfather raised the cane at me.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And
very nice people.
My grandmother said a few words, which you had the subtitles for what she said, and I never thought that going back to your films or something that I captured on this piece of equipment was something that I can look back on because both my grandparents have, they've deceased since then.
Very nice people, though. I'm
yeah,
sorry for
but that was something that I could always look back on and say, hey, that's all because of Jason's movie and purchasing that camera. That's something that I can...
You were in it. I was in it. They got to be in it. With what I've showed him on episode 1, which I didn't actually put on YouTube, but this is my best friend in the whole world, Lukey Dookie. It's my pit bull lab sleeping on the couch right now. He recently has taken over 60% of the couch. He has 2 Posturepedic doggy beds, 3 blankets, stuffed animals. He goes to the groomers, every 2 months, 3 months. Goes to the doctor whenever he's not feeling good. He has it made. All he has to do is guard the window. That's his only job.
He's done a good job in your films as well.
He's awesome. Yeah, I want to put him on. Well, I did the song for the Broken Tracks Beneath Forgotten Windows.
Correct.
And at the beginning, while I'm introducing the song, he's there. So he was even in that.
Yep.
And I've written about him, or wrote about him. Written? Yeah, written about him in the last short story that I did that I want to get, put out. I made him a character in that.
Yes.
He's been in a lot of stuff. So with the cameras, though, now, I know you used to use the huge camera when you were younger. You used this camera when you went to Europe, you said. Where'd you go in Europe?
I went to St. Michael, Azores, where my family's from.
Oh, it must have been beautiful, huh?
Yep. That was that was the second time I had been there. We went for 4 weeks. 3 of my friends and my brother as well. And we stayed at my grandparents' house. And there were a lot of times where we went sightseeing and I took the camera. But also a lot of times that we spent at the house because my grandparents still had a home there. And we were lucky enough to use it instead of paying for a hotel. So a lot of times we were just goofing off and, it's something that I could just pop in now. Well, not now because I don't have a VCR.
I might still have one. I got to dig around my basement.
Maybe. I could try to maybe get them converted into some type of digital file or something.
Yeah, you can burn them over.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. But it's something to look back on and just kind of laugh and memories, seeing people. You're like, oh my goodness, how much I've changed over the years and seeing yourself on camera.
Film's amazing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. This is kind of off the path of what we're talking about here. When you're filming anything, like when you went to the Azores, for instance, you ever pick up anything creepy on film? I know this isn't like a creepy show today, but like you ever filming something, like see like something like this, like Bigfoot walk by, or you ever see like a spaceship fly by, something that you say, hey, what is that? It could be a bird, but it looks like something else? I don't know why I threw that at you, but I mean, it just kind of like, when you're filming, sometimes you see things and you're like, hey, what is that? And has that ever happened to you? Going over past films you've had? Nothing
to be seen, but I believe it was one of the films that we were filming for you. We caught some type of sound in the background, which creeped us out.
In Virginia?
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny you brought that. I walked under the Welcome to Virginia sign, but it's not the actual Welcome to Virginia sign. It's within Virginia, but it's still, I think it's like a city limits sign or something. There was cars going by making actual car sounds, but when I walked under the sign, you heard like a strange sound. Do you remember that?
It was somewhat like a muffled noise, like a person's voice in a way.
But more like a screech. Like
yes. It was hard to describe because we would stop it and kind of backtrack and replay it.
Yeah, 'cause I remember I called you when I heard it the first time. I'm sitting at home, like I'm upstairs in my house, and I got the laptop set up, going over the thing. I'm staring at it, and I had it on high, and it went, and I was like, whoa. I said, what was that? And I played it again. I called you, so you're going to hear this. It sounds like some type of a monster on there.
It was, I still can't think of anything that could explain what that noise was.
No, I totally forgot about that. It's weird. And it's weird because when a friend of mine spliced it together, because he's like a computer guru, this guy. He does the renders and everything, which I know how to do, but I don't have the equipment, and he's just fantastic at it. But when he put it together, he thought it was a sound effect that we put in.
Right.
And I was like, no. I said, that just happened. And he goes, from what? And I was like, I don't know. But it worked well because it was about in the film, there was a bad guy called the Tavares Lord. So just that name alone, it's, some type of, this space, out of space monster guy on Earth. So you don't know what kind of sounds he makes.
Right.
But that was a good sound to tie into him, and it worked out well.
Well, I imagine there are probably other sounds that we've picked up along the way on different films that we can't necessarily hear on our own.
Like somebody talking on a cell phone when I told him to shut it. Not you, but
oh, yes.
in the background, you can hear it. Oh, that kind of stinks when that happens. But
yep. But, I mean, you get those kind of people, but all in all, I think everyone does a great job.
They do. I mean, I have to say, it's a special thanks to people that want to do things and they're not, in it for the pay. They just want their name in the credit. Because if the film does well, like an independent film that you make, even a film on YouTube that's 1 minute, 20 minutes, whatever, regardless of the quality, if it's, I think even though with one camera, we have good quality.
We do.
Yeah, it's great quality because the effort, you can see the effort. It's not maybe necessarily along the lines of like Spielberg or somebody like that. It's one camera. It's regular people. None of us are trained as actors.
Not at all.
So when you get people out there trying and they want to, get their name out there and things like that, hopefully people understand that and they can use it for something if they're auditioning somewhere. You know what I mean? Like they want to be in a big film. They can revert back to these and say, well, I did do something small on a YouTube movie.
Right.
You never know. Somebody big might notice that and want to expand on it and make it into an actual film, or we all worked on it together. And then that gives everybody an acting credit, gives you a camera credit, gives me a writing and acting credit, you an acting credit in some things, and so on and so forth,
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the people we use in the films help out behind the scenes, too.
Yep.
Like we'll get there and say, hey, can you get there early and give me a hand? I got to drag this log or do something crazy. And most people will show up if you've worked with them and you have good rapport,
Yep, absolutely.
So it's pretty awesome stuff. Now, anything I didn't cover about film, anything you want to throw out there, like not only experiences, but like with the equipment. Like I'm not advertising equipment today, by the way. This is just what we use, so that's why I'm talking about it, and that's why we have it here. But anything you want to add about it? Maybe something I missed?
No, actually there's one thing I wanted to go back, kind of rewind what we spoke about earlier.
Water, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Kind of like the evolution of cameras. I did have another uncle who had a video camera way back when, and I never got to use it, but I do remember that it was the larger one, like I explained earlier, but instead of having the actual cassette in it to record, he had it attached to the actual VCR, which he carried on a strap over his shoulder.
He had the VCR on his shoulder?
Yeah, well, yeah, like hanging off his shoulder, like almost like a purse, and the camera itself was plugged into that. So I can only imagine how uncomfortable that was, as opposed to what today is.
Jeez.
So I'm just glad I had never had to use any type of equipment like that.
Like cameras like this, that's what they were using not too long ago, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how old that camera is. I like it. That's why I was moving into the
It is nice.
set. It's so incredible, huh? It'd be cool to have like if you had a huge house. Let's say you become successful in film or something like that. Have that like in a room.
Oh, on display?
Yeah, on display. Yeah, I would definitely do that. I think it's really cool.
Definitely.
I like stuff like that. Now, do you see yourself working on any other projects? I know I'm working on writing stuff coming up, but do you have any other?
As of now, no. The last couple of years, just helping you out with your films, which, like I said, I absolutely enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is. Fun. It is a good time. Different ideas, get to see different things, like I said, meet different people. But no, it's just something that I just do for fun.
Now, let me ask you this, too. Has it ever And it's surprised me in the past, too, that some people that you don't think want to step up to be in films, step up and do awesome.
Yes, the ones you least expect.
Least expect. You can see them do something, and you're like, wow, so they did such a good job. They nail it, and like they might be like a real quiet person.
Yep.
But on film, they kind of shine into this. Like, I'm a quiet person.
Right.
Normally, I hardly even talk. I mean, I'm talking now because, I have a show. And when I'm doing a film, I talk, or if I'm on an interview or something like that, of course, you have to communicate. Other than that, I'm not a social butterfly.
No.
I'm a social, is that the right term? Social butterfly?
Yeah, you got it right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't flap my little wings and fly around town. I'm very quiet and introverted,
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can also say the same about my mother when she did the 40 at the Bell.
My mom's very quiet.
I
She
think,
was awesome.
Yeah, she's a very quiet person, no experience in front of a camera or anything like that, but I think it's her motherly role came out as being the woman from the shelter.
Well, she did fantastic in 40 at the Bell, and then when she played the ghost, or one of the ghosts that walked by with a knife sticking out of her back, her mom was so cool in the Noise in the Kitchen film that we did, she allowed me to attach a bar of soap to her back. Well, you did the attaching, but it was on her back with an old dress that we bought with a knife through the bar of soap into it with all blood on it, monster blood. So when she turns, the knife's sticking out, and it looks like this ghost of a woman that was murdered. And she did awesome. I mean, she was all pale, makeup. Her boyfriend was with her. He did great.
She stood on my bed as the ghost.
Yeah, and then on top of it, she did great acting scenes in 40 at the Bell. So that's like a short boxing film that I did a couple years ago when I turned 40. So I just told my age. I'm over 40 now. I'm actually going to be 42 coming up. Oh,
that's right.
Jeez. But hey, we're going to be wrapping up. Before we wrap up, anything at all you'd like to cover about film or anything like that, or the cameras, or being the behind the person scene in my movies?
No, I just want to say, like I said before, I don't have any education or any proper training on using anything like that, but it's something that I try. If it doesn't work out the first time, you try it again, and if you enjoy it, just keep doing it. It doesn't really matter if you get paid for it or not. It's just something you enjoy. Yeah. I enjoy it. I like to see other people's creations come to life and capturing it, and that's it. So just keep trying. Well,
I appreciate you being here today.
No problem. My pleasure.
Once again, my guest today was Gabriela DeMedeiros. She's the camera lady, or woman, and she acts in some of my films, does the camera work. She helps me with my scripts. Like, I write a script, I'll have her reread it to make sure it makes sense and it's not all jumbled. So thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for your help with the films. I'd also like to add, before we wrap up here today, I want to cover the spatula again, as you can see. I found it at either Goodwill or Salvation Army, but you don't even have to turn your wrist. I don't know. Why does it amaze me? I don't know. My books. If you guys are interested in reading my books, I have them right here. The Shadow Inside, Existence, The Tale of a Fanged Killer, and Broken Tracks Beneath Forgotten Windows. They can all be found on Amazon under my name, Jason J. Tavares. They're all fiction. They're all Rhode Island based, very interesting, very dynamic characters. All my films are on YouTube under my name, Jason J. Tavares. So that's another thing you guys can check out. The films are free, of course. The books, 99 cents on... Oh, excuse me, I can't say that in the... I didn't say that in the... Check out the books. They're on Amazon.com. Scratch what I just said about the 99 thing. Also, because I can't say prices on the air, so that was my mistake. Also, I would like to say that if you have an interest in doing something, writing, directing, producing, acting, dancing, painting, my email is jbnimble@cox.net. I would love to have you on the show. Once again, thank you for watching the third episode of the Jason J. Tavares Show for right-brained entertainers. And I hope you tune in again next month for episode 4. And my guest will be, I'm not going to say, you'll have to tune in to see. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys in April. Right. Okay.
Yep.
Good night.